Now, the violence in New York City, that is not an isolated incident. We have shootings, robbery, vandalism is way up in almost every other major city. Over the weekend in the city of Atlanta, an 8-year-old little girl was shot and killed near the Wendy's where Rayshard Brooks died. Now, this happened. Why? Because the mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, allowed the area to be taken over by armed gunmen attempting to enforce their own police-free zone, their own Chaz Chop Summer of Love zone. We showed you these 10 scenes on this program many nights ago, and now an 8-year-old girl was murdered in the area. So the question tonight is, Mayor, I know you're being considered. You're on the so-called short list for Joe Biden. Why did you ever allow this to happen? It's an epic fail on your part. You're not any better than Seattle's Summer of Love mayor. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp rightly now is calling in the National Guard to secure the area. Why? Because the mayor of Atlanta is unable and unwilling to protect her own citizens. We saw a similar horrific scene play out in Seattle. Remember those two teenagers murdered in the so-called lawless police-free zone. Chicago, the violence in many of the city's neighborhoods is completely out of control. 8 years of Barack, 8 years of Joe, Barack's hometown. What did they do? Pretty much nothing. They barely mentioned it. Every weekend we got the statistics. What did Barack do? Nothing. What did Joe do? Nothing. On Monday alone, 19 people in Chicago were shot, 3 were killed. Over the July 4th weekend, 7-year-old Natalie Wallace, this little girl, this beautiful little girl, was shot and killed while playing outside during a suspected drive-by shooting. These mayors, these governors, they don't secure their cities, and they don't enforce their laws, and they don't have bail for criminals, and they don't lock them up. What do you think is going to happen? And what's happened to Natalie Wallace, it's unacceptable. What's happening in all of these Democratic run for decades cities and states is unacceptable. This is the United States of America. We must stop the violence. The president again and again and again keeps offering to help out these cities and states. They keep rejecting his help. What is he supposed to do? I guess go with the Insurrection Act and just take over? That's their job to protect their cities. He's offering to help them for free. Joining us now, Fox News contributor Lawrence Jones. He joins us in Chicago tonight. He just spoke with Natalie's father. Well, I can only imagine the hell and the pain that he's going through, Lawrence.
Painful interview, Sean. Good evening. Many people know Chicago by its famous sports teams, but for many, they call it Chiraq, a reference to a warlike zone that is here. Sean, just the current numbers, just to give them to you, homicides are up by 34%, shootings are up by 42%. I talked with residents today. This is what they had to say. Does it surprise you that over 80 people were shot over the weekend?
It doesn't surprise me. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I got 4 kids. I got to walk down this block every day. Sometimes they be shooting. Is
that the new normal?
To this new generation, this new wave, yeah.
Is this the new normal?
I don't want it to be the new normal. I don't even want to speak that. I want it to be something that will pass.
This is hell in the poor neighborhood. You know, everybody taking a chance for something to happen to one of their loved one.
Just innocent babies riding along in the car with their parents, for them to get killed like that, it's a tragedy.
Where is the leadership in the city?
That's
Where
what we
are the
missing.
elected
That's
leaders?
what we missing. We missing community leaders.
And it's sad that we're not doing what we're supposed to do as a community, come together. We say Black Lives Matter, but in the community it doesn't really matter.
Sean, but for many, it all came to a head when 7-year-old Natalie Wallace was shot right behind me on the 4th of July. I talked with her father today, and these are his words. Now that we know who did this, had a long criminal record, and they allowed him to still be on the street, what is your message to the leaders that allowed that to happen?
Y'all got to change. Y'all see the way y'all got things going on. It's not working. How many kids is going to have to die before we realize we need to do better? I mean, when you find out it's one of your daughters, or your sister, or brother, and then you will feel the pain that I feel, it shouldn't have to come to that. I mean, we should be able to do something as a people, as a community, come together and strategize and think of something that's a lot better than what's going on now. Because, I mean, at this point, I mean, all our kids is dying out here in these streets.
Do you think the public is taking this seriously? And this is getting as much as attention as it should be getting right now.
Yeah.
You know, should there be protests the same for your daughter's life as it is when another person is killed at the hands of law enforcement or anybody?
I believe so. It should be. Hopefully, this point right now is a stepping stone, and hopefully things get taken care of. And I'm so happy that my daughter's name and ring bells and light has been shed over this horrific act.
What do you want people to remember about your sweet daughter?
I mean, she got a beautiful smile. She could have been anything, and that's the killing part. She could have been anything in the world, and now she don't have a chance.
Sean, I've covered a lot of these incidents, but going to see where she was shot and seeing the blood stain still in the grass is something I'll never forget.
How you know, Lawrence, this is the sad part. It's every weekend. It's gone on for decades. The same politicians, the same party, they get reelected. Same Democratic mayors, same Democratic governors, and it never ends. And it's getting worse. And now they want to defund or dismantle police departments. What are people telling you on the streets of Chicago today about that part?
People, obviously, that are on the streets, they want justice. When they see police brutality, they want to speak up, but they know that they need the police. I think this is a fringe group. I think the majority of people that I spoke with are wondering, where is the police when all this violence is taking place? A lot of community leaders that want to hold these public officials accountable, Sean, we're hoping to see some type of change. But what I saw today and listening to that family talking about the reconstruction that they're having to do on the body of their baby girl is shameful. And there's no protest about it. Zero.
Hey, Lawrence, look at this little girl. I have the picture right here in front of me. Look at this little girl. Beautiful little girl. Look at this little girl right here. Really? That's America's future. That's our treasure, our national treasure. Every single weekend, it's happening. They keep electing the same politicians that do nothing. As the president says, all talk, no action. Why would they reject help from the president? All of these big cities, they all reject help to restore law and order and protect innocent people. Why would you reject help when people are dying every weekend? 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. Makes no sense. It can be stopped. We're capable of stopping it. We don't stop it. It has to stop. We have to elect better people. All right, Lawrence, thank you.